What's going on, everybody? Back at it again. Another Egyptian God video for you. Every day I'm kind of refining the deck, and I'm also trying to find different matchups just so you guys can see a little bit of everything. Let's get started here. This is a really quick one. I just wanted to start it out for you guys. He didn't have anything in his hand, but I am able to amass quite a bit of damage, as you'll see soon. Kind of the ideal setup here. And I do have the blaze cannon, so I think this is the highest I've ever gotten raw to in one turn. So there you go, 16,000 damage to the face. This shows a little bit of diversity. This is the Mayakashi matchup too, which I don't think I've shown yet. And maybe some new cards are in here too. But anyways, you guys know how Mayakashi rolls. Constantly summoning from the graveyard just to keep synchro summoning upwards. Which I find so interesting. I've never actually seen it provide a good game state. I feel like it's missing something like being able to special summon its old special summon synchro monsters to the field. I don't know. Anyways, I'm able to use sphere mode, pitch with 1-for-1, which is obviously pretty fantastic, which helps me plus here and also start my combo in this way. So I'm able to set up a negate, grab another raw, and I'm honestly looking pretty good at this point. He's going to try to keep summoning back. I'm going to try to stop his plays there. He has one more, but it's honestly less than ideal. And I do have the backup with Guardian Slime, so I'm not in the best shape, but I'm also not in the worst for sure. At this point, the advantage is still kind of mine, I would say. Especially because the Mayakashi extra deck is obviously pretty limited. And I'm able to help myself out there. And this was pretty cool, I thought. One raw, and I'm able to boost the attack of that a little bit and go into double raw. Make sure I have protection, which I think is pretty cool. So I like that that one a lot. Definitely pretty rare to see a double winged dragon of raw in one turn. This is Magical Musketeers, which I think is a pretty decent matchup that you guys might see in the casual scene here. Fortunately, not able to activate Shaddoll Fusion. Nonetheless, I am able to make a little nice combo here, get my Makaba out, replenish. So not a bad churn, able to go, let's see, +3, or +2 I think overall, excuse me. It's nice to have the spell in the hand to negate. I tried experimenting with magical musketeers and gods, but in the end, it did not work out at all for me. Not in the best positions, but I wouldn't say neither is he. He tries to destroy it, but that doesn't really do anything. I don't know why he did that. Just a misplay by him, I guess. Go ahead. Not the best thing for me to get flipped because I was going to go into Rainbow Neos, but ultimately I've exhausted of a large majority of his cards, so. And obviously I have Raw back now. And the great advantage of this is that normally I would be able to use it in tandem with Guardian Slime, which is why the main reason why I have this card in here, because it's a Alistair and a water monster, so I'm able to trigger my own effects, which is where all the synergy really comes in. Now here's an Eldrich matchup. I don't think I've shown one yet. This is with the Numeron engine, so I definitely wanted to show this to you guys. Maybe not the best Eldritch deck in existence, but maybe represents a more casual version or a budget version of Eldritch. Still able to get that effect through, luckily. And I'm able to use Invoke for my Shadal engine, because it is just a normal fusion card in the end. So I don't have a lot going for me. He has double Eldrich and all his traps in the graveyard. So he's going to keep doing his Eldritch things. It's just able to replenish its resources so well, which is so annoying. Luckily, I did have that Shadal Falco, which I recently added. I think he misplayed there. If he would have done that, he would have been in much better shape. But again, I would say that this is a more casual thing. I don't think normal Eldritch is running that. At least I haven't seen it in these competitive online tournaments just yet. So he definitely has the card advantage right now. But the advantage of Invocation is that these are light monsters, so I'm able to get rid of some of his resources at the very least. I'm going to try to bounce this here. So now I have a backup plan at the very least. So you guys will see here. Maybe not the best idea to get rid of your Macabre, but ultimately I'm able to do what I want here. Getting rid of his Eldritch and not letting it go in the graveyard I thought was more important than these back row. And there is a small advantage here for me. Protect myself with Neos Fusion, which is a really big deal. And this is the Numeron engine, which I didn't really know about. But you'll see it in full force soon. Really inconvenient to have drawn both of these. That's just bad luck ultimately at the end of the day. Trying to keep his Eldritch away from me. At this point I'm at a pretty decent advantage here, especially having another Invocation. This is just crazy, the way you're able to just spam the field with Xyz monsters. I don't know when that's coming out. I don't think there's a release date, but obviously when it comes out, the advantage that it could bring you is like... It reminds me of... Gosh, I can't even think of what it's called now, but... You pay 1,000 for each monster you want to reborn in the graveyard. It got banned so long ago. It's crazy how much it comes down to it here. Every life point matters. He shotguns that too quickly, actually, which ultimately makes a difference in this duel for me, but able to grab that floating effect. And I thought I had him. I really did, and that's what I was talking about, where it's good to have this in here. I forgot that I didn't activate Ancient Chant, but I'm able to use Hyperblaze to work through it, which is absolutely insane. So now I'm just like, it comes down to, if he draws anything that has over 300 attack, which he luckily didn't. And then I was able to do exact damage. So I thought that was an amazing duel for you guys. Maybe not the most competitive, relatively speaking, Eldritch-wise, but still fun to watch anyways. Here are appliances. This isn't the most exciting duel, but I just wanted to give you guys another different look because I know it's coming out soon. Forced me to go first, which is super inconvenient for me. But again, I'm able to make Salt Mode not dead in my hand, which I think is the biggest part that I wanted to show you guys in this duel. And once I found out he was using appliances, I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of Link 1, so that's my best chance to... that's this choke point, basically, and a unique thing I'm trying to able to do. I thought I'd be able to end the game here, but that's a pretty... makes a bold move for the Solemn Judgment there. Again, I'm trying to go for the same idea, but I know it's not going to work out exactly. But it may infringe on some of his moves. And as you'll see soon, it actually does. This card is honestly pretty nice. It's just, most people use it for instant fusion, but being able to actually summon it, 2200 attack's pretty decent, So he flips here and is able to attack again. But the thing is, when he moves it here, I end up unlinking them because he has to jump over this. So ultimately, I did kind of save my skin in a way. And obviously at that point, I've exhausted all of his resources. So I just wanted to show you guys some pivots that you can make within the deck. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, this one's for... the yucks, man. This is hilarious, by the way. starting off with a pretty decent hand all in all. And again, that's what I was really trying to show you, that from the hand you're able to activate the effect. So, and you're able to attack from defense position. It's really not useful, but he decides that he's had enough, and he ends up killing himself, which I just thought was really funny. Here's Noble Knights, and I think this deck, normally I have troubles with Noble Knights, and I know that's embarrassing to say, but I also only play casual strategy, so I would say of all of them, this is definitely the best casual strategy deck, which this mostly is against it, just because of access to cards like Rainbow Neos. And I have a pretty decent setup here to start off with. Especially having the Shadil Fusion in my hand, I think is a really big deal. And then I hard draw Ra's Disciple, which ultimately is the biggest, but I'm able to activate Guardian Slime through my own accord, which was one of the biggest things that was bad about this deck. So he's a big beefy boy already. And once I send it to the graveyard, even if he has battle protection, Hyperblaze is able to protect me there. So, and at that point, it comes down to, if he can hard draw something of use for himself. And this is a pretty great board, obviously. This has a floating effect. I have the negate for monster, and I think he kind of realized that at that time. So yeah, I thought that was a really awesome duel. I just want to show you guys another pure build example and why I think that my build is better, ultimately speaking. Especially going first, you actually have plays, which is a big difference. And if you're playing, let's take this all the way and say this is going to be meta someday. If you're playing a mirror match and someone has mounted the bound creator for you, it just saves you a lot of time. And again, I've never put Mound the Bound in any of my builds. Relatively speaking, the only card that I have to worry about is Ancient Chant, and he didn't draw that. I'm able to summon another one, and he surrenders. Again, I just want to show you why I believe mine is superior. Here's a Time Thief. Maybe not the best, but definitely a casual strategy that you'll see at locals. Because when we start going back to Paper Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm 100% going to be playing this as my go-to for weekly tournaments. And I have the way to destroy him anyways. He's gonna have to prematurely activate his effect even though he doesn't want to necessarily, but with his board wide open, normally it would be pretty bad for me, but I have so many choices to go with here. And this is just full combo here. I'm able actually just a hard normal summon Ra, which is pretty unique, but yeah, and that's game. I mean, I'm able to assemble that so easily. Anyways, that's going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you really enjoyed that Eldrich matchup and just a bunch of other cool things that you guys saw in here, and I will see you next time.